time and shit. Yeah, why you had to do me like that? Yeah. And now I'm never gonna call you back. No. You were talking all of that shit, but now I'm done with you, bitch. And I ain't getting any calls, and I ain't getting any texts on the next. And I don't wanna talk to you at all, cause you be talking crazy about some threats, and it's really at my neck. You know that I had enough of you, had enough of all your friends too. Posting on the gram just tryna look cool. Being by myself is better than being with you. I ain't mean to do you like that, yeah. Cause now you try to call me back, no.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the CFC DP podcast. My name is Dylan Piccolo, excited to bring you another episode. Just a quick shout out to our music of the today. His name is Abel. That is his new track, Done With You. Please, if you go to the beginning of the episode, there's a QR code. Go ahead and scan that, download it. It'd be absolutely fantastic if you could do that. Abel's a close personal friend, and I think he absolutely produces some awesome music. So today, we're going to be talking a little bit about Chelsea's transfers still in the international break, so just a little bit of time before we get heavy into the match reviews and whatnot. So we're going to be talking about which Chelsea youth transfer will hurt the most. So there was kind of 5 major ones that I went at, and that was Tino Anjorin, Mark Guehi, Tammy Abraham, Fikayo Tomori, and then Tino Livramento. It was sort of a youth exodus this summer on how we exactly paid for Romelu Lukaku, as well as Saul. Obviously, Saul's loan fee was only $5 million. But to have a net spend in the positive for this transfer window, it was going to take some young guys being sold, because there really isn't the market for our loan army of older loan army players, such as Drinkwater, Barkley, people that, you know, in modern time and other times when COVID was not a big deal, it probably would have been easier to offload them, and Premier League clubs would have been able to go at them. But we say that instead we had to sell a lot of our young players and get them back with buyback clauses. So just a little bit about the sales themselves. Tammy Abraham was the leader at 40 million euros. Fikayo around 30, Mark Guehi 27.2, Tino. It's a loan with an option to buy, but they retired their number 10 jersey, Lokomotiv Moscow, and they unretired it for Tino. So I would expect that they're probably going to go through with that. And then Tino Livramento was on the lower end at about 6 million euros. So obviously all of these numbers add up, and it's Romelu Lukaku. And I think it's important also that you look at, these are buyback option classes, for Tammy, Guehi, Tino Anjorin, and Tino Livramento. And all of those numbers have been sort of wildly reported of what those are. I believe Tammy is at about 80. Guehi is around 40-ish. Anjorin would be at 34. And then Tino is a little more on the expensive side at about 40. So when you look at this, Marina Granovskaya has positioned themselves as pretty much for every one of these sales, whatever their buyback clause is double of what the club paid to Chelsea. So if you want to get Tammy back, you're going to have to take that $40 million that was brought back to you, plus another $40 million to get him back. And I think that this puts a nice insurance policy for Chelsea, just in case these guys do end up being worth that much. And I believe that for the most part that you're going to see that if there is an option with Chelsea, these guys are all sent to clubs that aren't massive clubs like Chelsea are. So if you can get them back, if they want to come back, all these numbers are very reasonable to do so. But with our squad depth, it's very tough for them to get into the squad. So looking at what's going to hurt the most, and a lot of it depends on how they pan out. In the early returns, you can see that Fick and Tammy have been doing really, really well in Serie A. Tammy has had kind of a seamless transition under Jose Mourinho, as well as Fick, who kind of went on the loan there and just started playing and balling out really, really well for AC Milan. And now he's got Olivier Giroud there as well, so even more comfortable. And they are in the Champions League, so you never know what will happen about potentially playing them moving forward. I think that in terms of what sale will hurt the most, though, is also going to depend on what we do also in the transfer market. If you go ahead and get Jules Koundé, and you got to kind of wonder about our academy guys, couldn't Fikayo Tomori or Guehi do that job? Chalobah do that job? It starts to get a little hairy when you start talking about that stuff, because do you really need to pay $60 million when you have a glaring hole in the midfield that can be addressed next summer with Declan Rice? Are we going to be able to? Obviously, I think we're getting a lot of these Drinkwaters and Barclays and Batshuayis. Their contracts are running down. I know we extended a few of them, but to get their wages off the books will be a nice amount of money. But we have to be able to fund these transfers, and I think that doing this youth exodus has kind of made it a little more feasible. But if it's only going to be for Declan Rice, totally understandable. Need a midfielder. But for defenders, I feel like probably Tomori, Guehi could have done the job. Obviously, Chalobah too. We did not get Jules Koundé. I think that we would have had Seville kept their original standing point on the price. But since they moved it, we kind of moved on. Marina doesn't want to get outplayed in the system, so she did not. She walked away from the deal and left an unhappy Jules Koundé in Seville. So perhaps that could be a January thing as well. In regards to who I think has the best potential to shine and get a higher fee in the future, I think if Tammy really dominates in Serie A, I think that you can see that his number is going to go up fairly quickly, especially on a higher profile team in Italy. Tomori is an English center back. I think he should be getting some more international shouts for England. He is a fantastic player, and I understand that they have depth at center back, and there's a bit of Premier League bias there, but I think Tomori is a guy that definitely has what it takes to get slid into one of those spots, and I wouldn't run it past, I wouldn't be surprised if he does get some of those international spots soon. Tino Andrin, I think, is a super interesting one. I think Tino has the ability to really go to Moscow and dominate. And what's interesting about his case is that $17 million release clause in pounds, 20 million in euros, is actually needing to be released in January. This is going to make a huge difference, I guess, because if you look at that money in the summer, if you get it in the summer, that might go strictly to a midfielder. If you get it in the winter window, you might see that Chelsea go in a little harder for Jules Koundé if that unrest is still there in Seville. What player has excited me the most out of this from what I've seen thus far in the early season? I think Tino Livramento has had great returns for Southampton. Just a quality player on the outside. It doesn't look like the Premier League's too big of a league for him at this time. He looks like he's able to go out there, produce, put in a match, and as well as Broha for Southampton. Those two can really be fantastic for them moving forward. Broha obviously on the loan. So it's going to be tough to see these guys play at other clubs. Hopefully with the buyback options that Marina has instilled in, that there's going to be plenty of other options for them. So if we can get some of these guys back, maybe it won't hurt as much. But I think in the meantime, anyone that has a little bit of respect for our academy and has grown to love these players, such as Tammy, which I know that he's one of the most loved players in the fan base just because of his attitude and his ability to just kind of put a smile on your face, just how he plays, and he does really love the badge. So it was kind of sad to see him go, but if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. Just look at Romelu Lukaku. He came back, unfinished business, and hopefully it could be the same for a lot of these youth guys. So a lot of what we're going to be doing here in the next week, we're going to have 3 episodes. This one, the following day, we're going to have an international roundup. Talk about the winners and losers of the international break. Timo Werner is one of them. So if you're ready for polarizing takes, get ready because those will be coming. And then if you want to look even further, I'm going to have Patrick Larson on the Aston Villa match preview. Super excited. And I think some of those international winners and losers are going to take effect, put an effect on Thomas Tuchel's team that he's going to put out there with a lot of guys perhaps getting back and having played 2 or 3 games. We might see a little rotation, but I think we're going to see something that's going to be really interesting and might be a potential for the rest of the season as a lineup choice for Thomas Tuchel. So as always, guys, please, if you'd like to subscribe, I urge you to do so. Hit that like button. I don't care for the phrase smash that like button, but you can do that too if you want. And feel free to follow me on Twitter. I love interacting with Chelsea fans, and I'd love to have you on the show. Whoever you are, if you have an interest to come on and talk Chelsea in any way, I will more than be happy to get you on an episode. We can talk about what we want to do. So please, like, comment, subscribe, do all the works, and I appreciate it. And go download Abel's song, go to the beginning, hit the QR code, and download it. It'd be a huge help to everyone. So thank you so much. Have a good rest of your night, and thank you.